What if I told you that the most relaxing spot in your garden could be just a few vines away? Welcome to Backyard Fortune, where we turn everyday outdoor spaces into something truly extraordinary. In today's video, you'll discover mind-blowing grape trellis and porch shade ideas, not just for beauty, but for real comfort, calm, and charm. These aren't fantasy scenes. They're real-world DIY projects that you can try at home. We've included timestamps so you can explore what suits your space best. And if you have any questions or your own grapevine dreams to share, we'd love to see them in the comments. One, Grape Trellis Sanctuary with Rustic Pergola Charm. Imagine arriving at the edge of a sun-dappled garden just as the day begins to stretch open. The first light of morning filters through a thick canopy of grapevines, gently tangled above a rustic wooden pergola. Every leaf holds a shimmer of dew. Every vine seems to hum with the quiet energy of the earth. Beneath this living roof, two wicker rocking chairs rest side by side, their woven frames softened by pastel cushions. They don't demand attention, they invite rest. In another corner of the sanctuary, a macrame swing sways softly in the breeze, framed by the curling arms of old grape branches. Books are stacked nearby, a warm cup of tea waits patiently, and the golden hour wraps everything in a quiet amber light. It's a moment designed not by grand gestures, but by intention, a place that holds space for pause. Time slows under the vines. The fragrance of lavender mixes with blooming wildflowers, and the shadows dance gently across the floorboards like brushstrokes of nature's rhythm. Just beyond, a more open pergola stands tall and welcoming, its beams dressed in climbing flowers and trailing leaves. Rattan chairs form a cozy square around a wooden coffee table, the kind of place where morning tea becomes a ritual, not a routine. The grapevines above are just beginning to stretch, the light glows through them, soft and golden. This is a place where comfort is found not in luxury, but in closeness, to the land, to the air, and to each other. These grape trellis settings aren't just backyard features, they're living, breathing extensions of your home. They blur the boundary between architecture and nature, inviting light to soften structure and silence to fill the spaces between conversations. Whether you're building a pergola for shade or to create a retreat of your own, remember, the beauty lies not in perfection, but in patience. In letting vines take their time. In choosing to sit beneath them. So, if you're dreaming of your own grape-covered haven, let these designs inspire you, not only to build, but to be. To be still, to breathe deeply, and to live slowly beneath the leaves. Two, Cozy vineyard porch under a living canopy. Sometimes, beauty doesn't shout. It leans in quietly, through the gentle rustle of grapevines overhead, through the amber light of late afternoon falling softly on an aged wooden porch. This is where comfort lives, under a canopy of green, in the stillness of a place shaped by time, not trends. The porch doesn't ask for attention, but it holds it effortlessly. Two rattan chairs rest in silence, draped with soft blankets that speak of quiet mornings and long, peaceful evenings. A simple clay jug stands nearby, worn by the sun and filled with the story of every season it has seen. Grapes hang like lanterns just overhead, and somewhere in the background, a bird calls, not loudly, but clearly, like a reminder to breathe. In the morning, the light changes. The air is lighter, the shadows gentler. A linen-covered bench sits beneath the trellis, waiting. A basket of ripe figs and warm bread invites you to pause, not because you must, but because you can. Butterflies hover lazily in the warmth, and vines trail casually across the railing, not styled, but allowed to grow. Elsewhere on the porch, clusters of daisies bloom in ceramic pots, while basil and rosemary fill the air with their clean, grounding scent. A table nearby is set for no one and everyone. A jug of water, a fig leaf, a slice of sunlight resting across the surface like a blessing. Nothing here feels performative. Everything feels lived in and loved. And perhaps that's the secret to these vine-wrapped porches. They're not just built, they're grown. They evolve slowly, organically, as nature finds its way through structure. And in return, they offer us something rare: stillness. Permission to slow down. A daily invitation to step out of the rush and into the rhythm of the vines. So if you dream of a space like this, don't begin with blueprints. Begin with intention. Grow it. Tend to it. And soon enough, you might find that the most magical porches aren't designed. They're discovered, leaf by leaf, light by light, breath by breath. Three, hidden vineyard retreat with rustic charm. Tucked away at the edge of the vines, there exists a space so still, it feels as if the world has paused to listen. The canopy above, heavy with grapevines and twisted wood, lets through only slivers of light. Beneath it, a rustic stone terrace stretches out like a quiet stage. A round wooden table stands at its center, flanked by simple chairs, aged by time and softened by use. On the table, a bowl of grapes, a flickering candle, and nothing else. Because here, nothing else is needed. This is not a patio designed for display. It is a retreat, a space carved slowly by seasons and solitude. The air is cool and earthy, the breeze laced with the faintest scent of ripening fruit. In the distance, trees lean into the stillness. No city sounds. No hurry. Just the hush of leaves brushing against each other, like old friends exchanging secrets. As the sun begins its descent, the light shifts. It spills softly across a low wall wrapped in ivy, where blooms and boxwoods line the perimeter in quiet celebration. A lone wooden chair rests under the vines, beside a lantern and clay pot, a corner made not for guests, but for moments. To sit, to exhale, to take in the golden view of the distant field before it disappears into dusk. And then there's the vineyard deck, lined with lavender and open to the horizon. Under a pergola built of thick beams and humble care, rocking chairs gather around a weathered table set simply with figs and wine. Grapes hang like jewels from the rafters. Lavender nods gently in the breeze. The sun kisses everything with gold before slipping behind the vines. It's not fantasy, it's just the kind of beauty we forget to look for. These vineyard retreats don't need polish. They need patience. They welcome age, weather, imperfection. And in return, they offer something far rarer than novelty. They offer presence. A place to remember what it feels like to be still. To sit with the land, not just on it. So if you dream of building your own vineyard retreat, don't rush. Let the vines take root. Let the wood darken and the stones warm. Because the magic comes not from creating perfection, but from giving nature the space to make something sacred. 4. Secret vineyard escape under twisting vines. There are places not meant for grand gatherings, but for quiet revelations. Hidden beneath a canopy of old vines, thick, knotted, and loyal to time, rests a wooden pergola that offers no pretense. Its beams, rugged and softened by the seasons, hold the weight of nature's embrace. The grapevines twist like ancient calligraphy overhead, writing silence across the sky. In the hush of mid-morning, filtered light dances through leaves and dapples the ground with moving shadows. Along the stone path, an open book rests beside an unlit lantern, waiting patiently as if the reader has only stepped away for a breath. The breeze carries the scent of thyme and ripening fruit, and the only sounds are the gentle murmur of leaves and the soft creak of a wooden bench settling into stillness. Elsewhere under this natural ceiling, chairs line a long table, not extravagant, but enduring. They are framed by golden vines and wind chimes that whisper with each gust, catching the glow of the setting sun. Everything here feels sacred in its simplicity. This is not a space built to impress, but one made to hold. It holds light. It holds quiet. It holds the stories people bring and leave behind. In another nook, two rocking chairs face one another beneath a lush tangle of vine and shadow. Around them, terracotta pots brim with calendula and rosemary, their colors muted by shade but no less vibrant. There is no need for conversation here, even silence feels full. The natural architecture of twisting limbs and woven green frames the view like a living tapestry. This vineyard escape asks nothing of you but presence. It gives you no electricity, no Wi-Fi, no glossy perfection. And in doing so, it gives you everything that matters. It gives you air, light, grounding, and stillness. A moment to breathe. A chance to remember that beauty is not always loud. Sometimes, it only whispers. So if you're dreaming of building your own quiet vineyard retreat, start not with blueprints, but with patience. Let the vines grow wild. Let the wood gray with rain and sunlight. And let the magic come, not from design, but from the way the place begins to feel like it knows you, even before you arrive. Five, Enchanted Vineyard Retreat for Slow Living. Sometimes the most beautiful places aren't discovered, they are created slowly, with intention, under sunlight and with bare hands. This vineyard porch is one such place. Draped in vines that hang like emerald curtains, it doesn't announce its presence. It whispers. The morning arrives gently here. Light streams softly through the tangled canopy of grape leaves, brushing golden across wicker chairs and cotton throws. There's no urgency, only stillness. A book lies open, its spine slightly curled, as if its last reader fell asleep mid-thought. Nearby, a chunk of fresh bread sits untouched, crumbling slightly, beside a warm teacup. This isn't a scene styled for a magazine, it's a moment that simply happened. And that's the magic of it. Step around the corner and you'll find a rattan chair tucked beneath trailing clusters of grapes. The sunlight plays on the handwritten letters peeking from a basket on the floor. Butterflies flit lazily through the warm air, bees hum among wildflowers, and every breeze feels like it's meant only for you. There's a softness here that can't be engineered, it's grown. Farther along, a shaded bench faces a blooming field beyond the vineyard rows. From this quiet seat, you can hear everything that matters. The rustle of leaves, the song of sparrows, the sigh of wood expanding under heat. This is not a space for productivity, this is a place for presence. Nothing is perfect here, and that's the point. The cushions are creased from use. The linen curtain sways, not because someone arranged it, but because the wind remembered to visit. The grapes don't hang in symmetry, and the flowers bloom wherever they choose. That's what makes it feel like home, not a showroom. If you've ever longed for a life that feels more like a storybook, this kind of retreat is your invitation. You don't need acres of land. You need only a small corner, sunlight, patience, and the courage to let nature shape your shelter. Let the vines grow. Let the furniture weather. Let the slow life find its way to your porch, and when it arrives, let it stay. Six, Secret garden porch wrapped in grapevines. Sometimes, the most magical places aren't found, they are stumbled upon. You turn a quiet corner, and suddenly you're somewhere else entirely. A porch veiled in grapevines, whispering with secrets only the breeze remembers. Here, the green is not just color, it's a feeling. It drapes gently over white railings, slides across wooden beams, and dances with light that filters through like soft lace. On the floor, painted in pale blue and weathered by years of sun and rain, clay pots spill over with mint and wild jasmine. The air smells like something you've forgotten but long to return to. Cushions rest lazily on wicker chairs, as if someone just stepped away for a moment, maybe to fetch a book, or perhaps just to listen to the morning birdsong from the nearby hedge. In another corner, a table waits under its canopy of green. A single lavender sprig leans in a vase, delicate as breath. Beside it, a chair wrapped in lace glows in the dappled sunlight, and an old white door stands slightly open, suggesting stories behind it you'll never fully know, but you can feel them. The whole space isn't curated, it's grown. It's not polished, yet it's perfect. And in the early morning, everything softens. Hanging planters sway gently above a round wooden table where steam curls up from a fresh cup of tea. Two birds perch quietly on the railing, their silhouettes still against the filtered gold of dawn. The vines hum in the hush, holding the light like old hands holding memories. This is not a dream staged by screens or filters. This is the kind of quiet beauty that emerges when nature is trusted to take over, when design meets surrender, and the result is a living lullaby of leaves, light, and stillness. A secret porch in a secret garden, not built for showing, but for being. Seven, hidden garden retreat with lantern glow. There's something timeless about the way evening falls over a garden wrapped in grapevines. The fading sun rests gently on the wooden beams, and the air, now cooled from the day's warmth, carries the faint scent of herbs and blooming hydrangeas. Lanterns flicker like old secrets, soft, steady, golden. They don't try to outshine the setting sun, they simply keep the moment aglow. In this hidden retreat, wicker chairs are drawn close, not just for comfort, but for stories, the kind spoken softly or not at all. A teapot waits patiently on a low table, sending up delicate wisps of steam. Grapes dangle above like nature's own chandeliers, heavy with promise. Nearby, a book lies open beside a cold glass of lemon water, abandoned mid-thought, not out of boredom, but because the view itself became the story worth reading. Hanging vines and potted rosemary create a curtain that shields you from the noise of the world, but invites in everything that matters: the hush of dusk, the song of crickets, the language of lantern light. As night slowly folds in, the garden becomes a soft echo of the day, warm, grounded, and utterly real. It's a kind of magic that doesn't ask to be noticed. It just is. And in the stillness, you realize that's more than enough. Eight, secret garden patio with blooming backdrop. There's something undeniably enchanting about a garden that tucks itself away from the world, where blooms run wild, grapevines stretch with quiet confidence, and every wooden beam feels like it's been kissed by sunlight and memory. In this hidden garden retreat, the porch becomes more than just a place to sit. It's a gentle escape, a softly lit haven wrapped in the glow of vintage lanterns. As dusk falls, warm candlelight reflects on the polished wooden rustles in rhythm with the breeze. Wicker chairs offer comfort beneath the grapevine canopy, their cushions welcoming, their placement inviting conversation or solitary pause. Overhead, grape clusters hang like small lanterns, their deep hues echoing the rhythm of twilight. It's not a set, It's a sanctuary. A real-life enchantment shaped by love and care. As the sun lowers its voice and soft shadows stretch long across the garden floor, another patio unveils its own spell, this time wrapped in the riotous colors of wildflowers. A rustic bench waits beneath a pergola draped in vine, flanked by cosmos in electric pinks, marigolds in sunny bursts, and velvety purple petunias that sway like they've never known rush. The warm stone path guides the way, its edges kissed by blossoms, while a straw hat and watering can rest casually nearby, hinting at a gardener who knows the joy of tending beauty at its pace. Butterflies flit between petals, and a quiet hum fills the air, not from machines, but from bees, leaves, and life itself. There's a third kind of magic here, found in the simplicity of a sunlit patio, where grape leaves curl around the beams of an old pergola, and wildflowers seem to laugh freely. This isn't a place built for a magazine, it's made for stories, for real afternoons with hands in the soil and lemonade on the table. A clay vase spills over with white daisies near a weathered garden chair, while a basket of apples rests nearby, hinting at a day's harvest. The entire setting feels familiar, and yet quietly extraordinary, like something drawn from a painter's dream of the countryside. This is the essence of DIY grape trellis magic, not just the structure, but the soul it allows to blossom. Whether it's an evening of quiet tea beneath lantern light, or a colorful afternoon surrounded by fragrant chaos, these trellises and patios invite you to slow down, breathe deep, and build something not just beautiful, but alive. (9) Tranquil garden terrace with blue march. Sometimes, the simplest transformations breathe the deepest magic into our gardens. A well-placed grape trellis, an arch wrapped in soft blooms, and a path lined with gentle stones, these are not just design elements, but invitations. They call us to slow down, to step into a world where nature leads, and time bows quietly. Under the soft canopy of grapevines and cascading roses, light filters through like a lullaby. There's a wooden bench just beyond the curve of the path, perfectly still, waiting for someone to pause and listen to the hush of the leaves. Lavender brushes the ankles like a welcome whisper, and daisies bob gently as if nodding in agreement. Further down, a petite round table sits between two worn pastel chairs, no longer symmetrical, but all the more charming for it. Above, a vintage lantern swings lazily in the breeze, catching glints of golden sun and casting them onto marigolds below. It feels like stepping into a living painting, each petal and leaf captured in real-world colors untouched by filters or perfection. In one quiet corner, a long tunnel of blooming trellis stretches like a storybook portal. The soft pinks and lush greens curve around you, drawing your gaze forward into a garden kissed by afternoon sun. A cup of tea rests on the stone edge, still warm. A blanket, softly draped, hints that someone was just here, perhaps watching the birds or getting lost in a dream. There's nothing rushed in this garden. No urgency. No need to perform. Just quiet beauty built from thoughtful hands and the rhythms of the earth. And that is what makes it so powerful, not just as a DIY project, but as a place to return to again and again. (10) Secret garden terrace with hanging grape canopy. Tucked away like a forgotten poem at the edge of a quiet home, this hidden terrace feels as though it grew from the land itself. The wooden pergola is draped in a living curtain of grapevines, their fruit-heavy tendrils swaying gently with the wind like whispers from the trees. Each cluster hangs in soft green abundance, catching sunlight that dances through the canopy and scatters golden shadows onto the old wooden planks below. At the heart of this terrace, a weathered table stands with humble elegance, dressed in a pitcher of wildflowers and a bowl of ripe figures. Clay pots, overflowing with vibrant blooms and trailing greenery, line the stone railing, not arranged with precision, but with love, like a memory placed with care. It's not curated beauty, but lived-in charm, where time passes gently and nothing rushes. Nearby, a pair of wooden chairs offer stillness to those who seek it. Their cushions, faded with sun and use, invite conversation or quiet thought. A teacup steams lazily beside a closed book, and somewhere in the distance, the hum of bees plays softly over the breeze. This is a space that doesn't pretend, it exists. Real textures, real materials, real warmth. You can build something like this yourself, not with perfection, but with presence. A trellis of grapes, a place of pause, and the courage to let nature do most of the work. Here, beauty doesn't shout. It waits, in the hush of a shaded terrace, to be noticed. And once you step into its quiet magic, you'll wonder why you ever needed anything more. (11) Enchanted grape tunnel pathway for secret garden entrances. Somewhere between dream and daylight, a path gently curves under a living tunnel of grapevines. It's not just a passage, it's a portal. Crafted with patient hands and guided by nature's rhythm, this trellis arches over like an embrace from the earth itself. Ancient vines twist and weave across the iron or wooden frames, forming a cathedral of green. The air is cool and scented with the quiet sweetness of ripening fruit. Sunlight doesn't simply shine here, it dances. Each beam breaks through the canopy like whispers of gold, dappling the ground below where moss and wildflowers quietly thrive. Lavender lines the edges, its soft purple hue brushing against your ankles as you walk. There's a hush in this space, as though even the birds pause to admire its grace. In one moment, you catch the glint of grapes hanging low, dark as midnight or bright as morning dew. In another, fireflies blink under the arch at dusk, casting a natural glow so soft it feels like a memory. The tunnel isn't just built, it's grown, shaped by time, touch, and sun. It doesn't demand your attention. Instead, it invites you to slow down, breathe, and follow where the green path leads. And somewhere along that walk, beneath the vines, you begin to believe, maybe, just maybe, you've stumbled into the entrance of a secret world. (12) Rustic flower-framed grape arbor for garden sitting areas. Sometimes, peace finds you not in the silence, but in the softness of a garden seat framed by flowers and vines. Imagine stepping into this rustic arbor, where nature has gently claimed the wooden beams with clusters of grape leaves and tendrils that curl with quiet confidence. The morning light filters through, warming the tops of marigolds, dancing across the petals of pink and white roses that reach out from either side like old friends leaning in for a hug. Sweet peas climb with elegant abandon, while terracotta pots hang overhead, spilling over with blooms that seem to glow under the sun. In one corner, a white bench beneath a handmade trellis offers rest, not just for the body, but for the mind. The scent of wisteria floats through the air, mingling with the earthy sweetness of ripe grapes. Time slows here. Everything feels touched by hand and season, imperfect, beautiful, and completely real. A small wooden table stands with 2 stools nearby. It's easy to imagine the clink of teacups or the soft laughter of someone you love. This isn't a place designed for show, it's a space built for living slowly, for sitting long, and for remembering what quiet joy feels like. No filters, no tricks, just a garden moment born from wood, vine, flower, and care. A real piece of magic that anyone can create with patience, love, and a little imagination. (13) Cottage garden trellis entrance with cascading grape leaves. There's a certain magic found in the quiet corners of a cottage garden, especially when that corner is framed by a handmade grape trellis, softly draped in trailing leaves. Imagine walking down a narrow gravel path where every step leads you closer to a gently arching gateway woven with grapevines and wildflowers. The wood is aged but strong, its surface warmed by the sun and softened by time. As the sun casts golden light through the veil of leaves, shadows dance playfully on the ground. Lavender blooms sway on either side, releasing their sweet, calming fragrance into the summer air. Tall hollyhocks rise like sentinels beside the entrance, while delphiniums add strokes of vibrant blue to the scene. No filter needed, because real beauty never asks for one. Closer to the gate, handmade touches abound. A slightly tilted sign welcomes guests not with words, but with charm. Clay pots brimming with calendula, thyme, and cheerful marigolds line the wooden fencing. Even the smallest details, the uneven cobblestones, the creaking hinge, the fluttering of butterfly wings, feel intentional, though they were never planned. It's not just a trellis or a garden path, but a living threshold between the everyday and the extraordinary. This is the kind of entrance that stirs the soul, not because it's grand, but because it feels like it has always been there. Built with humble hands, nurtured by nature, and warmed by memories. A place where every passing season adds something new to the story, and where stepping through the gate feels like entering a slower, softer world. (14) Two-tier grape pergola with balcony garden view. There's a kind of magic that happens when nature and architecture come together in harmony, and nowhere is it more evident than in a two-tier grape pergola. Built not just for shade but for experience, this structure rises from the garden like a gentle fortress of peace. The lower level, embraced by mosaic stonework and climbing vines, invites you to sit and breathe, sheltered beneath cascading grape clusters that sway with the breeze. It's a space where light glows gold in the early evening and every rustling leaf tells a calming story. Above, the world opens up. The balcony garden isn't grand, but it's perfect, lined with pots overflowing with bright marigolds, blooming hydrangeas, or rosemary brushing against the rails. Here, you might enjoy your morning coffee while the scent of ripening grapes fills the air. The railing, wrapped lovingly in vines, frames views of the flourishing backyard below, and the structure itself feels handcrafted, intimate, aged in the best way, where wood softens with time and iron welcomes rust like freckles on skin. This pergola isn't just an idea, it's a real possibility. It's the kind of DIY project that rewards the hands that build it with a living, breathing shade canopy and a quiet place to reconnect. There's nothing artificial here. Just sunlight filtered through grape leaves. Just peace. Just home. (15) Cozy grape canopy hammock nook for quiet garden corners. Tucked into a tranquil corner of the garden, where the world grows silent except for the rustling leaves and the occasional birdsong, a simple hammock becomes a haven. Twisting grapevines climb and weave their way across rustic beams, forming a thick green ceiling overhead. Their leaves flutter gently in the breeze, casting mottled light and shade over the earth below. Beneath this canopy, a cotton hammock sways with quiet grace, inviting anyone to slow down, breathe, and listen. Just beside it, an old wooden bench cradles a ceramic mug, still warm with morning tea. A rattan hanging chair swings softly, its pillows plump and inviting, while a light throw rests across the seat like an unspoken welcome. In another corner, a vintage lantern dangles from a metal hook, its glass catching the golden afternoon sun as grape leaves stretch toward the sky. This is a place without hurry, a green sanctuary where time lingers. The hammock is more than a place to lie down. It's a gentle reminder that magic lives in simplicity. That the soft hum of bees and the scent of summer herbs are enough. That the garden, with all its vines and wildflowers and dappled light, is still the best kind of escape. If this video sparked your imagination, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more down-to-earth design inspiration. Which trellis idea spoke to your soul? Let us know below, and until next time, keep creating magic in your own backyard.